and welcome to the Steven Universe audio blog thing that we do. Still don't have a name. You know what I'm going to start doing, Chris? I'm going to start making up a name for it every week.
Nice.
We'll just a new name every week. So hello and welcome to the Steven Universe Cat Fingers extravaganza. This week we're talking about cat fingers. Weird episode. Arguably the weirdest. Possibly so much so that it's kind of scary. It's literally, I found this episode mildly terrifying when I first watched it. No less so the second time. As always, Chris, I'm going to cut straight to you because I really...
No. Give it. You got to give a synopsis.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So this is the episode for those who don't remember, where Steven.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm just going to go and
Okay, great. So this is the episode where Steven, determined to learn how to shapeshift, as the gems has shown themselves to be able to do in the past. If you remember, a couple episodes ago, Amethyst came in pretending to be a police officer. Like she morphed herself into a police officer and then morphed back. So they've shown that they can do that in the past. So Steven's washing the car with his dad. His dad owns a car wash. Amethyst comes along, demonstrates her shapeshifting powers. Steven wishes to be able to do that too, but he's still not grasped his powers, it goes horribly wrong. He manages to, instead of turning into a cat, just turn his fingers into cats, which causes all sorts of problems for him. He can't have his fry bits, he can't hold a sandwich, and it gets a bit out of hand. He starts sprouting cats everywhere, and it does spawn one of the funniest lines of the whole episode, because it gets really sort of almost like horrified, because he's yelling, "I'm a monster!" as like cat heads sprout out of him. "A very cute monster!" And I thought that's a great line. Like, that's really funny. And then what I loved about this episode, the thing I love about this episode is that it's his, even though in the beginning they set up Greg, his dad, is like, "Gem stuff, I'm out of here. I can't deal with magic." In the end, it's actually Greg that saves him, not the gems, not Garnet, Amethyst, or Pearl. And when they come back, because they have something important, gem stuff, to get to, when they get back, he's already sort of cured. And I love that Greg clearly thinks less of himself than he has. So the premise of the episode is basically that. So Chris, hit me up. What's going on? What are you up to?
I thought it was truly awful. I really was offended. I really thought it was utter bollocks. And I've tried to, I don't know, animated animals, fucking, you know me. No, I mean, animals are fine. There's a running joke that I don't like animals, but it's not that. It was creepy, which, as you hit on, but that's not my big problems. Yes, they've shapeshifted before, but we only saw them shapeshift into a human. I struggled with shapeshifting because I was like, well, this is weird. Because now, whenever anything happens, I'll be like, why don't you shapeshift into a lion? Like, I don't understand why that won't be the solution for every foreseeable problem in the future. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, well, maybe they're going to set limits. Maybe they're going to set restrictions to it. Nope, literally a fucking scene where she describes how they can transform into objects, they can transform into people, they can transform into anything. That's explicitly said. Mm-hmm. By one of the characters, so that's going to be great for future drama. Cool. Just no real plot. Like, he just walks around with cats on his fingers. It's weird. And then I didn't even, because again, I'm like, okay, well, the gems have gone. It's weird, but okay, fine. It's all about him and his dad. Fine, great. Love the him and his dad stuff, always. Mm-hmm. That's consistent. So he goes to his dad. That's really sweet. So maybe like his dad's gonna come up. Maybe his dad's gonna, because he just shakes and thinks, and the cat appears. So he's just got to fucking shake and think, and the cats will disappear. And maybe the dad, it will bring that out of him. Maybe that will be the episode's resolution. The dad will give him the power to see just Steven. Maybe the dad's going to say something sweet like, "Come on, Steven, shake off the cats and me and you will play together and squirt each other with water again, and that'll be fun." Woohoo. Nope. The solution to the problem is awful. Yes, cats don't like water, but when you spray a cat with water, it doesn't fucking evaporate. Like, it doesn't make it. The cat would just be more angry. Like, I did not like that as a solution. It would have made more sense if he had dog fingers and they gave each dog chocolate. Like, at least that would make sense. At least that is comparable in the real world, and that would genuinely kill off the dogs. Like, I don't understand how that was the resolution to the episode, which I just found. Fuck it, I just didn't enjoy it. I don't know if that's coming across.
Yeah, it's very strongly coming across. I will say this is actually probably one of my least favorite episodes as well.
Yeah.
For some of the reasons you mentioned, I totally agree. Like that, the solution, you're right. The solution to the problem, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, for those that don't remember, they decide that cats don't like water, so they spray it with loads of water. Like, it's just not a... This show has been more clever than that in the past. I didn't think it was a clever solution, and I don't understand why they had the opportunity to do some really nice father-son stuff and have that be the solution. Because he doesn't even give his dad credit at the end when she's like, "You should have had more faith in Stephen," and he's like, "Oh yeah." He doesn't say, "Oh yeah, well actually, Dad did it because with shitloads of water. That's all it took. I'm by the ocean. Could have just fucking jumped in. In fact, he did jump in with the cats." Earlier in the episode, didn't disappear then, did they? He literally puts his hand underwater
to be fair,
with the cats.
He didn't hold it under there because they meowed and he pulled back.
It's a shit solution.
It's not great. Look, I mean, for me, the only thing I can say in defense of the episode is the thing I said in my intro, which is that I do like that Greg helped, because in the beginning you do feel Greg's helplessness, because it's such a tricky situation for Greg that he's got this son that's essentially part not human. I mean, that's just the situation, and he's got to learn to deal with that. But not only has he got to learn to deal with that, but he's got to accept that these three other guardians that he has inherited in Amethyst, Garnet, and Pearl have more knowledge and capability to help him when it comes to the gem stuff and the powers than he does. So he's not only does he have a son that he might struggle to relate to because he's not necessarily all human, but he can't even advise his son about certain things. So I do think it's incredibly sweet that,
But
Stephen...
would that not have been more powerful if he had advised him on
100%
just being himself, or just...
Absolutely. That's one of my big cruxes with the episode is the same. That solution is nonsensical. But the notion is still there, though. He still does turn to his dad, and his dad still does help him. Yes, the solution is nowhere near as good as it could have been, nowhere near as powerful as it could have been, nowhere near as sweet as it could have been, for 101 reasons, absolutely. And then, of course, just the premise in general is just... I mean, even for a show as weird as this, that's the weirdest episode they ever do, as far as I'm aware. Even the voice actors point out this episode. Do you know who voices Garnet, by the way, yet, Chris? Have you noticed?
No.
It's Estelle.
No. Oh, cool. What, from Friends?
No. Estelle the singer.
Oh, Estelle. Who's Estelle?
I'm trying to think what she would have done. That you would... Big pop singer from England.
Don't know her. And that's weird. I love some pop.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what songs that you'd know of hers primarily.
I don't know. I'll look her up after. Anyway.
Yeah. She sang on American Boy.
Huh?
American Boy.
What, American Boy?
Yeah,
that song?
That's the stuff.
Oh, cool. I know.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, I forgot why. How do we even get onto that?
Apologise for not... I feel like I should have put sorry Estelle fans for not knowing.
Yeah, but I can't remember what I was saying now. Is that bad?
That the voice actors think it's not that great.
Yeah, even the voice actors. I think Estelle particularly was asked about the show and how she got involved with it, because obviously she's a famous singer and doesn't need to be the voice of a cartoon. It's not really... It's a pretty weird jump career-wise. But she's talked about how much she's fallen in love with the show, but she's also talked about how in the early days they gave her these scripts and they were really weird, and she's often cited... I've at least seen 2 interviews that I'm aware of where she's cited this episode as being her... I'm really not sure what's happening here. I'm really not sure what this show is trying to achieve.
Yeah, I think that's why it made me angry, because it really was winning me round. And then
it was like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah, this was just madness. What, do you agree with me? Am I missing pieces about this whole... How am I not meant to, on every crisis now, just think of something that you could shapeshift into?
I think they do use the shapeshifting a fair amount. I can think of a couple of instances where shapeshifting is used to sort of solve a problem. So I think they use it enough to solve the problems that you don't notice the times they don't. Does that make sense? Because if you remember they used it actually. Funnily enough, you may remember they used it in Cheeseburger Backpack to solve a problem.
I can't remember the specifics.
So in Cheeseburger Backpack, Steven is going to cross, and he throws his jumper over around a pillar, and then holds either arm of it, and then pulls himself up. And then Amethyst stretches her arms out to do the same. So so shapeshifting is already being used at least a couple times to sort of like solve problems. So I think it's one of those things where, because they do actually use it to solve issues a handful of times, the odd time they sort of forget that power exists, you don't really mind. It's less annoying. So, but it does come up a lot, and I found as well it's interesting because as the show goes on, you'll notice that certain skills are preferred by certain gems. So Pearl is not fond and not particularly skilled or as skilled at shapeshifting as Amethyst.
Shapeshifting, yeah.
She can do it, need be, but Amethyst loves it, does it all the time, very good at it, can do it without thought, and I think it's a bit like, I think these gem powers are a little bit like skills that we as humans learn. So like, you could start learning the piano tomorrow, but it doesn't mean you're going to be able to go on stage in front of thousands of people and do it. So I think that one is less of a problem for me for the two reasons of that they make it pretty clear that Amethyst is the best and most frequent user of shapeshifting, so she's not always present for a start. And then and again, the other issue of just that they do use it when they can. So it's not like it's forgotten about going forward. Shapeshifting is used quite often. And there's even an in-show explanation of why and how they can shapeshift.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's hard to explain. This isn't really a spoiler because this is just something we learn a little bit later on. But the gems' physiology, they are basically made of light. They're not there physically the way humans are. They're like projections from their own gem. Does that make sense?
But Steven's half human because he's his dad's son. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So which makes it trickier for Steven, obviously, because I'm not sure he'd be able to bend light quite the same way.
Right. I mean, there's a fleshlight joke in there somewhere, but I won't make it.
I mean, does what I've just said alleviate your concerns about that element at least?
I suppose, yeah. It's the most I've ever resented you for making me do. Like, I think what was upsetting about it and why I got so angry was because it felt like episode 1, where I was just like, why am I being made to watch this?
Yeah, I think that's the last time you'll feel quite that strongly like that, because to me, literally that episode, when I said to Nadia we were doing this one, she had the same reaction, which is, Chris is not gonna like that one. I think it's pretty clear that Cat Fingers is a bit of a. I would argue it's the closest they come to a misstep out the gate.
Yeah.
The next episode after this is I can assure you is a much stronger episode, much closer to the stuff that you've been enjoying prior to this.
Okay.
Because cool. This is the funny thing though, is if we're going on a sort of ratio, you thought Gem Glow was crap. You didn't like Gem Glow.
I just thought it was weird. I didn't really know what was happening.
Yeah, and then this one not so much. But there were 4 episodes in between that slowly won you over. You quite enjoyed Cheeseburger Backpack.
Yes,
You really liked Together Breakfast, if memory serves. And Frybo as well, which I thought you'd really hate, but you quite liked Frybo too.
Yeah. So
I think
it was winning me over. Yeah, but like you say, it's taken some steps backwards. You got to win me. I wasn't like we often are recording these when we're recording anyway. So it's like Fringe, which is another show we're watching for another podcast, Fringe Observers, is like Fringe finished and I wasn't like, oh fuck, I'll watch Steven Universe. I was just like, okay, now it's Steven Universe. Next week I'm gonna be like,
yeah, what next? Okay. Huh? Yeah, I know. I feel you. I feel your pain. I'm fond of the next episode myself.
Okay. You told me this one was about. You were like, it involves his dad, and I got all excited, and you were wrong.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to make. I was giving you the one positive that I thought you would like the fact they involved his dad. I was trying to.
But that made it worse because they could have done more with that. It made me angrier.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because they didn't do that to the best of their ability.
Agreed. Yeah, no, totally agreed. It's there, but it's only tangentially there. I agree. The next episode is called Bubble Buddies, and I think Bubble Buddies, and the episode that follows that. Sirius Steven are two early episodes that really gave a good example of where the show could go. They don't do a lot a huge amount in terms of plot progression or answering a lot of the questions, but they do a lot in terms of tone. I feel like these two are closer to the tone of where the show goes than, for example, Frybo or Catfingers. Because I think Frybo's just weird, nonsensical fun. We both agreed with Frybo that it wasn't like the most deep episode or anything like that. It wasn't exactly like character arc, but it was funny and inventive and creative. And, the animation was good. And we both kind of thought Frybo was creepy, but just the right level of creepy. Catfingers was a step too far, in my opinion. Yeah. Especially the music in Catfingers as well, by the way. When he's getting the cats coming at him all over the place, the music they play is properly haunting. It is creepy music.
It felt like they were trying to do a horror movie.
It was really bad. But Frybo was just the right level of horror, because it was comical horror. Because what he was doing was just making everyone eat loads of fries, which is kind of like the most harmless but hilarious level of horror ever. But I think what they do with Bubble Buddies and Sirius Steven is they set a bit more of a precedent for the tone, because I feel like they're still finding their feet in these first sort of like 10-ish episodes. The first episode I truly absolutely adored is coming up as well. Like the first one I was like, I know I'm in love with the show now. That's coming up as well. I like the first episode where I literally I'm not even gonna say. We'll just get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it. But there are episodes coming up that I'm really excited to watch now. There's one that in the next sort of it's funny because I was just looking at it. In the next sort of 5 episodes, so from 7 through to about 12, there's only one episode that I don't love, and it's not that I don't even like it. It's just it's a bit inconsequential. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to go through these next 5 or 6 with you, because I think by the time we get to episode sort of 12, 13, if you're not on board, we might be starting to go down the other side of that hill and going towards you, just really resenting me for making you do this. Okay, so let's see where that goes. But so that's everything for this week. Come back next week and we will chat about Bubble Buddies.